Nilesh, I think it's YouTube live.
हाँ जी अखिलेश जी, we are live on YouTube.
सर मेरी वॉइस ठीक है? I hope it is clear.
Perfect, perfect.
Thank you.
If I hold it like this तो कुछ नहीं होगा ना, ऐसे पकड़ के पढ़ लो. You don't know.
Renu ma'am, can we start the session?
Yes, please.
Please. Friends, we start today's celebration of National Youth Day by famous quote of Swami Vivekananda ji. Give me a few men and women who are pure and selfless, and I shall shake the world. As the online mode has now become a new comfortable zone for all of us to meet, greet, and celebrate. So today, team of Adhivakta Parishad Panjab invites you all to celebrate National Youth Day via this online mode. We have amongst us Professor Renu Thakur as our keynote speaker for the day. She teaches ancient Indian history, culture, archaeology in Panjab University, Chandigarh. She specializes in history of early medieval India. She has published her research work in international journals. She has delivered several lectures and has made various presentations in the national and international seminars and workshops. She is, she is presently the coordinator of ICSVS and also an editor of Panjab University Research Journal. She is a member of various committees of Punjab, Haryana, and Chandigarh as an expert on ancient Indian history. We are thankful to her for her kind presence for today's session. We welcome you, ma'am. You may
Thank you
kindly
very much.
start. Ma'am, you may start the session.
Okay, thank you
Great.
very much. Thanks. At the very outset, I thank Adivakta Parishad Panjab for inviting me to speak on Swami Vivekananda, Vision and Mission for Youth. Definitely, I'm not expert on Vivekananda because since I specialize in ancient Indian history, but for last 1 year, I have been given charge of this center, Interdisciplinary Center of Swami Vivekananda Studies. And since then, I am reading his all works, and definitely I had little idea before of life and teachings of Swami Vivekananda, but now I am more interested to see and more focused kind of attention now I'm giving to his works. So whatever little I have been able to gather, that is what I am going to share with today's learned participants. I welcome all the learned participants who have joined for today's lecture. I'll be speaking on vision and mission of Vivekananda for youth. It is important to discuss his early life before we talk of his vision and mission for youth. Definitely, why early life? Because his early life had a great impact on his, future thinking. So that is very, very important to understand that how this young boy who was Narendra turned into Swami Vivekananda. So that is very, very important. So I start with a brief introduction to his life. So Swami Vivekananda, who was known as Narendranath Dutt. I think all of us will be familiar with this name, Narendranath Dutt. But two other names also, were there by which Vivekananda was known. And these two names are not very popular. One is Vivideshananda, and another is Sachidananda. So before he became Vivekananda, he was called Narendranath Dutt, which was his first name. Then he became Vivideshanand, and then he became Sachidanand, and ultimately he became Vivekananda. He was born on 12th January 1863 in an upper middle class family in Calcutta. Narendra was born and brought up in luxury, and his childhood was marked by a spirit of daring and piety, mingled with sympathy for the poor. And we see, in the end also, this his sympathy with the poor is remains, with him till his last. His mother was a spirited and accomplished lady with an air of majesty, and his father was an enlightened free thinker with liberal views and compassionate heart. Narendra was a voracious reader of books in different branches. He had sharp intellect, rich store of knowledge, and argumentative ability. So this ability was very, very important and which was appreciated by all his teachers, elders, peers. The age in which he lived witnessed a great transformation in Bengal. This was due to the English education and impact of Western culture, which resulted from it. And this had great effect on the psyche of this young Narendra Dutt. Now, because seeing all this, Narendra was drawn to the Brahmo Samaj, which was founded in 1828 by Raja Ram Mohan Roy. But his spiritual yearning, it was not satiated. He was looking for something more. He was not satisfied. This brought him into contact with Ramakrishna Paramahansa. To him, he surrendered as a guru. So from here, his the another kind of journey of Narendranath started. Now, Ramakrishna demonstrated to him that all religions are one. So, this is something which is the core philosophy of Swami Vivekananda. When we read his collected works, we find that he is against, calling any religion superior or inferior. On 16th August 1886, Ramakrishna left his mortal frame. This was a great shock to all his disciples. And it was a great shock to Vivekananda as well, rather to Narendra Dutt. Now, Narendra founded a monastery in Baranagar, and the second phase in the life of this great saint started with the death of his guru. So from here, we see that Narendra, he changed. And now he was, he became a wandering monk, a parivarajak. He visited the holy places of India and stressed that education among the masses is must for improving economic condition. Because since when he's started wandering from village to village, from city to city, he could identify that how the people of India, the general masses, the common people, they are suffering. And the experience he gathered during these travels proved a turning point in the career of Narendranath. Now, he had first-hand knowledge of poverty, ignorance, distress, misery of Indian masses, which deeply touched his heart. He reiterated that religion is not meant for empty bellies, and then he vowed to fight for the liberation of his countrymen. So he started thinking of that what is wrong with the people. It is because at that time we were not free. Freedom was far away from us, and he could realize that maybe this is the reason that we are facing all these ills. So because of this, he tried and he thought of participating in the Parliament of Religion held in Chicago in 1893 in America, with number of ideas such as improvement of material and spiritual condition of the masses, preaching of Indian religion and philosophy, and contact with scientific and technical advance of the West, and representing Hindu religion in the Parliament of Religions at Chicago. He lamented. Now, this was these lines are very very painful. That how Vivekananda felt about the kind of atrocities, the kind of troubles, the kind of inhuman attitude which was met to people. He lamented that sectarianism, bigotry, fanaticism have drenched this earth with human blood and has sent nations to despair. So, with this kind of thinking, with these kind of ideas, he agreed that he would go to America and he would represent India. Earlier, he was little, apprehensive that he may not be a right person to go to America, because he wanted to remain in India and wanted to take care of the ills of the people. But then he said, let me go there and represent that how we people feel about the world and feel about ourselves. Now, before obviously a brief life sketch of Swamiji has been given by me. Now I'll talk about his vision for youth. How did he visualize that how youth has to come up, stand up, and take care of this country? So Swamiji's Jayanti is rightly celebrated as National Youth Day. We celebrated this on 12th January 2021. And since 1985, this day is celebrated as National Youth Day. At 39 years of age, he filled the country with positive energy, which is felt even today and will continue to be felt always. So his life is a great message to the youth of the country. The country's youth is expected to rise to the values, principles, and beliefs that this great monk lived by. The main objective of Youth Day. Now, what was the objective of Youth Day? Why it was considered apt to celebrate this day as Youth Day in 1984, and after 1984, it is continuously being celebrated as Youth Day. The main objective of this was to promote rational thinking among the youth, who is future of India. India being the youngest nation in the world, we all know, with 65% of population under 35 years of age, needs to emulate his teachings. Now, definitely, when we read Vivekananda's works, so we see that how positive he is. He loves strength. He hates weakness, and he says, "Let us not live in fool's paradise. Let us not think ourselves to be weak. We are not weak. We are not inferior. We are equal." He's not saying even that we are superior to anyone, because he did not believe in superiority or inferiority, but he said, okay, we are equal to all. Why should we think ourselves to be inferior? And once this feeling of inferiority goes into our mind, then it's very difficult to bring it out. So he was preaching that we are equal to all, if not superior, but no way we are inferior to anyone. So he called youth as one of the most dynamic segment of the country and full of energy. And for him, for Vivekanand, the ideals like self-perfection and selfless service was most important. And he wanted youth to believe in that. He said he wanted the youth of this country to be looking for self-perfection and also to render selfless service to the poor of this country, to the general masses of this country. So this kind of thinking, these kind of views of Swami Vivekananda, have been very, very important. And definitely these words, this philosophy, these views definitely influence and encourage our young people of this country. And he told youth to think highest. He said, if you don't think high, then what is going to happen? Obviously, you are going to not achieve heights in your life. So if you want to achieve heights, then you have to think highest. And he further says, one should never think oneself weak. If you think, you will become so. And this is very rightly said by him. We have also been telling into our students in because since I am a teacher, and we keep sermonizing and we keep telling students, please do not think yourself to be weak. You are not weak. You try to emulate great men, try to think high things, try to set high goals. And we see here that, like a true teacher, he is trying to bring youth to the main platform where he wanted youth to perform for the country. And another thing which is very important, he said taking risk in life will help. He was not against, he just wanted youth not to just sit idle. He said, you take risk, and while taking risk, if you win, then you can lead. And even if you lose, then what you are going to do? You can be a very good guide. So see, both ways you are going to win. If you win, then also you are to lead. And if you lose, then you are to guide others. Then you can tell people that that was the wrong way possibly I was embarking on, and you can improve and you can guide people. So both ways you can be of use to the youth. Youth should have faith in themselves. Now, having faith in oneself is very important. Even in the present day times, we see at times that our youth is, not having confidence or not having, faith in himself. And sometimes our youth is going astray. Sometimes youth is attracted to drugs, to other things. So he says, if you have faith in yourself, then definitely you are not going to do anything bad. Rather, you will not be running from pillar to post to get, some kind of happiness. But he's at the same point of time, he says, but assimilating the spirit of others is equally important. No doubt you have confidence in you, you have faith in you, but still, Swami Vivekananda said, assimilate the spirit of others, learn from others, do not hate others, try to imbibe good qualities from others. So this is again a very, very great lesson for the youth, that they should not think themselves to be complete, that they are complete in all respects, but rather they should keep learning from other people, other countries, and assimilating this spirit. And they should assimilate those ideas, though that spirit in themselves. But it is equally important to preserve your individuality. He says, by when you are assimilating these qualities, good qualities of other nations, your friends, your peers, your teachers, but try not to lose your individuality. So here he is stressing that whatever qualities you have as an individual are very, very important. No doubt you assimilate good things from all other places, but try to have, your individual bent of mind, your thinking, and that thinking should be the guiding light for you in future. Then he says that youth should be fearless. Until you are fearful, until you are fearless, you cannot perform. Do not think that if you take risk, then something bad is going to happen. Try to take risk and try to be fearless. And then he says that youth can perform his duty and duty towards the motherland. So until you take those risks, until you say that, okay, I am sitting here, if I do this, I may die, I may have problems. He says, no, be fearless. And when you are fearless, you can work better. So that is another message for our youth, that having, trust, having confidence in oneself, and the most important thing is one should be fearless. One should not be full of fear, because if you are having fear, then you cannot give 100%. So Vivekananda wanted youth to give 100% to the motherland, and that is why he said that the youth should be free of fear. And definitely. Another thing which Vivekananda is telling to the youth, or rather teaching, or rather putting forth, is that one should have self-confidence. Self-confidence. Until you have self-confidence, you cannot have confidence in God, in confidence in any other one, any other person. So first you should have confidence in yourself and patience. He says, if you are to lead, the leaders have to be patient. If you are not patient, if you are impatient, then you cannot be a good leader. So if you are to lead your country, if you are to lead the masses, then you need to be patient. Every time you will not be facing the same kind of situation. So sometimes you will have to do certain things which you don't like, and those things should not make you impatient. So the patience is a virtue which youth should inculcate. And then self-reliance. Do not depend on others. Do not always think that, yes, if somebody will perform, then only I can do, or I can perform. So self-reliance will help the youth to develop and grow. So he says, when you have faith in yourself, when you have confidence in yourself, when you are patient, then you will be able to perform the best, and you will be an asset for your country, asset for your motherland. So look, small things, these are very small things what we Vivekanand is telling youth to follow, but these are very important. If these good qualities are inculcated by our youth, then see the country or our motherland will reach which heights. So these are simple things but very, very important. And then he says that the self-reliance will help youth to develop both physical and moral strength. And, if you are physically fit and morally not having, or not proper, then definitely, your physical strength is of no use. So both physical and mental health, mental energy, positive things are at both levels are required to perform. So again, by he is not saying that only healthy body is required, but he said that you have healthy mind as well. So healthy mind and healthy body both will help youth to excel. So this is again very, very important. And regarding this, there is a quote which is very important, and he says one should have muscles of iron and nerves of steel, and mind made of same material as thunderbolt, means the strongest. So if you
काम करो
if you have strong muscles, if you have steel like nerves, and if you have mind made of thunderbolt like material, then definitely no one can defeat you. So that is what was the thinking of Vivekanand for the. He
हाँ जी
says we are part of God. Okay, so shed fear and awake from hypnotism. He says you are a part of God. This is, Vedant philosophy here, that God is within you. So you are to identify that divine power in you. So how you are to do that? And you are to do that by doing, by following the path of, truthfulness. And that truthfulness will help you attain all kind of, power. And one word, hypnotism, is very, very important here. And regarding this, I'll be telling you, narrating a small anecdote which Vivekananda has referred to in his works. He says there was a flock of sheep, तो बहुत सारी भेड़ें चल रही थी, और इन भेड़ों को चलते चलते एक छोटा सा शेर का बच्चा कहीं आ गया टाइगर, और टाइगर का बच्चा वो भेड़ के साथ चलना शुरू हो गया, और ऐसे ही वो भेड़ों के साथ चलता रहा, पलता रहा। अब क्या हुआ कि जो टाइगर था वो अपने बेसिक इंस्टिंक्ट्स जो हैं वो भूलने लगा, और वो उन्हीं के साथ मिलके खुश रहने लगा। तो एक दिन एक बड़े टाइगर को लगा कि यार ये तो मेरा ही लुक्स लाइक माय प्रोजेनी, ये तो ऐसा लगता है कि ये टाइगर है, ये इनके साथ ऐसे ही नेचर इसकी कैसे बन गई, लेट मी टीच हिम अ लेसन एंड लेट मी टेल हिम that you are not this weak like the sheep, but you are as strong as the tiger. And then that little cub, it went near water. Somewhere there was a pond. This is a story which he is narrating, anecdote he is narrating. He says, and then that tiger's cub saw its face in that water, and he recognized. He says, I am different from these sheep. I am not a sheep. I am a tiger. And he left those sheep, and he ran with the tiger. And this shows that let us not, with the group of we people, let not think that you are also weak. Try to distinct yourself. Try to see your inner power. Try to see that you have a lot of capability. So this is a very nice way of teaching, which Vivekananda chose to invoke our youth. And he says asserting for one's right is very important. Until you assert, even child has to, sometimes we tell child, no ice cream, no chocolate, and the child starts asserting, no, I want it. You told me last week that you will give me a chocolate and you are not giving. So Caesar's assertion is important for one's right, is but one should always be, one should always be careful, and one should always be fearless. And he says, if youth will be fearless, then the power, goodness, and resilience will come automatically. Okay, so if we are having all these qualities, certain qualities will follow themselves. So you have to have faith in yourself, you have to be fearless, and other qualities will follow suit. Because a person who is fearful would not have confidence in oneself. So he says you have to have confidence, and rest of the things will follow. So learning, and another thing which is very important, Vivekananda says that learning and emulating great men will fill youth with vigor and virtues. He said that you have to read, you have to learn from the leaders, you have to learn from the great men, and try to emulate, try to see that how they did, so if at all they were doing good things, so you try to learn from themselves, and by this you will learn vigor and virtues. He laid emphasis on talking to oneself at least once a day. Now this is very important. Even we people sometimes want some time for ourselves. And then even I have started doing, since I have joined this Vivekananda Center, or rather, I have been giving this duty of staying in Vivekananda Center. I have started keeping aside at least 5 minutes in a day to talk to myself that what throughout the day I did. So sometimes I say, oh, it was all useless. I have not contributed a bit. And sometimes I feel, no, I have contributed, and tomorrow I will I can do more. So he says you have to talk to yourself, and if you talk to yourself, definitely you are going to get some inputs for your tomorrow. And if you do not talk to yourself, then definitely you are going to miss a very intelligent person. He calls a person, a youth, a very intelligent person, and he says, but keep talking to yourself from time to time. Until you talk to yourself, you will not come to know that what is lacking in you, or what you can and how you can lead others. So that is very, very important, which Swami Vivekananda had given for these for the youth. In his view, now this is again a very important quote of Swami Vivekananda, where he says, all the power in the universe is already ours. He says, all the power is with us. But since we have put our hands before our eyes, and so we cry, oh, it is dark. He says, open your eyes. Open your eyes. How? Open your eyes with knowledge. Open your eyes with love. Open your eyes with purity. Open your eyes with compassion. And then you will not find this world to be dark, this universe to be dark. Why it is dark for us? Because of all this jealousy, all evils which we have in ourselves. So he says this word is beautiful, and we should always love this word and try to see the beauty of this word, rather than always criticizing and saying, oh, this is very difficult time, this is very dark. So he says, just remove the hands which you have put in front of your eyes. That means the evils, the greed, the malice. So all those things have made us blind, and we are unable to appreciate the beauty of life, the beauty of word. So he says we have to do that. Otherwise, we will remain, we will just be brooding, and we will just be blaming things all around us. He gave a message to youth to set high goals. He said one has to have a high goal. Until we have a high goal in life, we cannot progress. And he says then having goals is not important, but striving hard to achieve those goals is very, very important. I can say that, oh, I want to be a doctor, but unless I put in hard work, labor, I think I cannot become a good doctor. So he says, if you have set a goal, then setting goal is not going to help. Then striving hard to achieve the goal is also very, very important. And he says one who is poorest is not who is not having money, but one is poor, or rather the poorest if one has no ambition in life. So if you don't have any ambition in life, then you can, you are the poorest. So this is something, for the even the modern youth, this is very, very important. We say, oh, job nahi milti hai, ye ho gaya, wo ho gaya. So हमें लगता, हमें youth को ये सोचना चाहिए, और हम as teachers youth को ये बताएं कि हम लोगों को किस तरह से जॉब के लिए, लेने के लिए, या जॉब क्रिएट करने के लिए लोगों के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा. हमें अपने लिए इंपॉर्टेंट गोल्स बनाने पड़ेंगे. हमें अपनी मदरलैंड को ऊंचा करने के लिए कहीं ना कहीं ये बताना होगा कि अगर हम ऊंचे गोल लेकर चलेंगे तो कहीं ना कहीं हम एक अच्छे ह्यूमन बीइंग्स बन पाएंगे, और अपने देश का नाम पूरे कोने कोने में ले जा सकेंगे. No, selfishness and jealousy, as per Vivekananda, are the greatest evils. He says these two things have, really brought havoc in India. He's talking about ancient India because he was there in the 19th century. And he's saying that these two evils are the major evils. We Indians, we people are fighting with one another on, tribal issues. He says we should not fight on tribal issues. There are other things we should be careful of, and we should throw away this jealousy, and then we will progress. So youth should try not to indulge in jealousy and selfishness. He invoked all to love life, as self-hate is a punishment. Many times we say students, they get disappointed and says, oh, ma'am, mujhe to bada hi bura lag raha hai. I hate myself now because I have failed. I have got this, compartment in this exam. So we tell them that hating yourself will take you nowhere. Love yourself. You have so many good things. Even if you have failed for, once, you can be, guide for others, and definitely, and you can improve. So failures should not be thought as, hindrances, or, they should always be, there are always lessons to be learned from failures. So that is a kind of teaching, that is a kind of message which Vivekananda is giving to the youth. So he further says, love of others presuppose love of oneself. Until you love yourself, you cannot love people. So first you have to love yourself. Love yourself, love your body, love your mind, love your actions, and then only you can love others. And you have to trust yourself. And if you trust yourself, then only you can trust, others. If you do not trust yourself, you cannot trust others. And another thing which he says, that charity should be way of life. Now, what kind of charity? He says, no doubt we are to help, animals and, other, say insects and other things. We are to take care of them as well. But he says, humans are the first to be helped. So this is a very important message to our youth, that we, no doubt, we are to help animals also. We are to help, trees survive. We have to help plants survive. But he says all these things are secondary. For us, humans are to be fed first and then animals. So that is what, is his soch. He says empty bellies will then create, many hindrances, many revolts. So first we have to satiate the hunger of the humans. So that is a message which is very, very important and powerful message given by Vivekananda to the youth. And he says, the more we help others, the more pure and powerful we become. He says, if we are helping people, so, God is helping us. So we become very powerful and we become pure by helping others. So youth should shun laziness and free themselves from illusion. They should not remain in illusion. Oh, I'm a father, I'm a son of a, say, minister, so I'll get adjusted in life. Or I'm a daughter of a professor, I will get job. No, this is not the way. He says you should not live in illusion. You have to work hard. And if you do not work hard and have confidence in you, then you will suffer in the end. And he says, never feel yourself helpless and weak. Always think that you are strong, because strength is life and weakness is death. This is again, one of his quote. And he says, while identifying divinity in yourself, you have to follow any of these four pathways. He says that you are divine. You have a part of God as a soul in yourself. And how do you identify that? There are methods to identify, and he gives us four methods. Those are the Bhakti Yoga, the Jnana Yoga, the Karma Yoga, and Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga means controlling mind. Bhakti Yoga means that you are to give selfless love to the God. Then again, Gyan by knowledge, and then Karam by performing good actions. He says it is not necessary that all the four yogs or all these four pathways you are to follow to identify the divine in yourself. Any one of these can be adopted by you to excel in life and to become powerful, to become and identify divine in yourself. And this is again a very, very important quote. So he said, let us proclaim to everyone, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. So we have to arise, we have to awake, remain awake, and we have to stop, going towards, running towards, looking towards that goal, and until we reach that goal. We keep telling our students also this, that beta, we have to, always keep in mind our goal and always strive hard to achieve our goal. So this will bring awakening, and this awakening will bring, purity, excellence, and love for motherland. And also we should realize that India is not inferior to anyone in any respect. Now, since I have talked about the early life and about that how and what he expected of the youth of motherland, to indulge in or to have what kind of qualities in youth. Now, briefly, I will be talking about the mission of Swami Vivekananda. Uh, Swamiji was an ardent nationalist, internationalist. I will not, if we say he was a nationalist, then definitely that will be a half definition of what Swami Vivekananda was. So he was internationalist also and humanitarian also. He did not discard the old and not deny the merit of new, but he pointed out a synthesis between the two. He said, okay, old and new, certain things, olden things must be good, and certain new things are good. So old and new can be synthesized, and that synthesis was a very, very important, kind of mission which Swami Vivekananda gave us. He proposed a synthesis between Anglican, Reformist, and reactionary Orthodox Hindus of those times. There were problems in society. There were problems at those times because of colonialism. Lot of chaos was there. And he says that we should try to accommodate one another. He stressed on all around development of Indians by imbibing both the spirituality of ancient India and material progress culture of the West. He says, if we say that the knowledge of science or the material progress is of no use, that is not correct. Spirituality is of use, but along with spirituality, if we inculcate interest in science and technology, if we improve our science, if we excel in the field of science and technology, then definitely we can do wonders. And he heralded a new era of national regeneration in India, and by removing the evils and imperfections and assimilations of good qualities of West. He was not against West, neither he was against motherland, but he was thinking of having a better word, that word where, both the things go together, spirituality and material progress. So he further says, each must assimilate the spirit of others and yet preserve individuality and grow. We should help one another assimilate and not destroy, and try to establish harmony and peace, not dissension. Now, this is such a powerful message, such a powerful mission, which was set for all of us, rather for the world, that we are to assimilate and we are not to destroy. And by assimilating, we will be establishing peace and harmony in the world and not dissension. This is a big lesson, great lesson for all of us to follow this philosophy today, because we are on the crossroads. There are a lot of problems due to pandemic, due to so many other kind of issues which are rising up. So we have to keep in mind these particular viewpoints of Swami Vivekananda. He believed that no religion and culture is superior to other. Each can contribute in establishing peace. So he says, now here also there is one story that he says, each religion thinks that, oh, my religion is the greatest. We are the supermost. He says, and he here gives one story of two frogs. One of the frog, एक जो मेंढक था वो कुएं में रहता था. अब जो कुएं का मेंढक था तो कुएं में छोटा एरिया, और कुआं का मेंढक ये उसमें टप टप उसमें कूदता था और सोचता था क्या बढ़िया है यार, मेरे लिए तो बहुत बड़ी जगह है ये. तो एक दिन क्या हुआ कि बाय चांस एक समुद्र का जो वो है मेंढक, वो कुएं के मेंढक के पास आ गया. तो उसने, जो कुएं का मेंढक था, उसने उसको पूछा कि यार तुम मेरे इसमें आए हो, क्या तुम्हारा जो समुद्र है वो कैसा दिखता है, क्या वो इतना ही बड़ा है, क्या इससे बड़ा है? तो इसी तरह से स्वामी विवेकानंद कहते हैं कि एक रिलीजन में हम बैठे हैं, से वेदर इट इज बुद्धिज्म, हिंदुज्म, क्रिश्चियनिटी, इस्लाम, सूफिज्म, एनीवेयर. So we are thinking that our domain is the greatest, our area or our space is the greatest. No, we should always try to explore. We should always try to extend ourselves. We should always try to see beyond that. And then we'll come to know that, like the frog of well, we are in illusion. We are to think that there is something beyond our religion also. There is something beyond, which can be appreciated. So this is very, very important. Swamiji said that liberty is the first condition of growth. If you are not free, then you cannot grow. So he said that each one should have freedom to choose one's way to excel. Until you have freedom, you cannot excel. And he said the women should also be free to solve their problems themselves. We are not gods. We are not, having any, major concern that we are to formulate rules and regulation for women. Rather, women should be given freedom to think of themselves. And as per Vivekananda, the education is the manifestation of perfection in humans, and thus stressed comprehensive nature of education. He said that education is not that you are merely telling a child to read and write, and you can just provide him an environment. And that environment, is important, which can be provided by anyone for one to grow. And he said, the aim of the education should be character building, physical culture, cultivation of arts, study of humanities, with special reference to Indian culture and scientific and technological training. So I think National Education Policy 2020 envisages this kind of education in India. And Swami Vivekananda was hopeful that by inculcating all good qualities, India will rise and possibly shape the future world. Swamiji attained Mahasamadhi on 4th July 1902. But still, Swamiji is with us and he is continuously guiding us and motivating our youth to excel and to lead the world. Thank you very much for very, very patient hearing. And I appreciate that definitely the topic is very different. And I think uh, all the learned participants have done wonder by listening to this, talk on Swami Vivekananda and giving me this patient hearing. Thank you very much. And I again thank the organizers for giving me this platform to say a few words on this great saint of India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. It was a wonderful journey in which you have taken us through the vision and mission. Now I would request and call Ma'am Neena Kapoor to kindly say a vote of thanks for today's session. Ma'am, kindly unmute yourself. Neena ma'am, kindly unmute yourself.
I've done it. Can you hear me?
Please. You are audible. Please continue.
I'm very thankful to Madam Renu, Professor Renu Thakur, for giving us such an enlightened session on Swami Vivekananda ji, as he has been a great thinker, monk, everything. And even in today's world, he's hero of many of us. And we have to follow, we have to imbibe and follow his thinking and the teachings he has given to us. No doubt, Madam Renu Thakur has covered all the aspects, almost all the aspects of Swami Vivekananda. So nothing more to be said about him. But I will definitely agree with Madam Renu Thakur, what she said, that he really believed, and she quoted also that youth should come out of his fears and weaknesses, and they should motivate their future with strength, as wisely said by Swamiji, that strength is life and weakness is death. So I also believe in this, and Swami Vivekananda has had a great impact even on the whole world, no doubt. But I have a special respect and a special concern for him, because my whole family has been a big follower of Swamiji, and Madam Renu Thakur ji has really given many things which even I didn't know about Swamiji. And I'm very thankful to Madam Renu Thakur ji for giving us such a enlightened session once again, and so many things which we were not knowing about Swami Vivekananda ji, and she has given in such a simplified manner. So I'm thankful to you once again, Madam, on behalf of whole of the Adhivakta Parishad Panjab, as well as our many other members who have been sitting and watching you this session. I'm again thankful to everybody.